Hi guys, welcome back to the shop. Today I'm going to get on a boring job for a gentleman, a CB175 Honda, I think it is. It's a twin. I'm just barely able to do this, I think, with my milling machine. Really, 2 inch is just about it. And this one, he picked it up somewhere else. I'm not sure where. And it's already at 10 thousandths over. And this one on one cylinder has a lot of pitting due to moisture evidently being in the cylinder. It's really a shame because one is just a really nice bore. You could probably just go ahead and stick a new piston rings in it and go for it. But you just don't do that. If you're going to do one, you got to do the other. And we've got to go to 1 millimeter over in this case. It probably could be done with a little less, but I'm not sure. So it's just better to go to err on the big side just to make sure we get it cleaned up. So anyhow, it'll be a little different. There won't be as much to see because the boring head, when it goes into the cylinder, that's it for viewing inside the cylinder. There's no ports, so it's just as it's going in, and you might catch a little bit of the tooling tip coming out the bottom, but there's nothing really to see. So I'll just go through the setup kind of like I normally do, maybe a little bit more on this one. I don't know how good it's going to set up because most of the damage is at the top of the cylinder. So I may end up having to go below it to line the cylinder up. Not real sure. We'll see what it looks like when I do it. But anyhow, we're going to get it done, and it's two of the same thing. So I'll probably just show one, and then we'll go on from there. But let's get on down there and get it set up and get started on it. Okay guys, see if I can see what I can get you to see here. It's always so difficult trying to figure out what lighting is best. But you can see here the pitting that's in the top, 1/3 of the cylinder. Piston must have been up pretty well. You can tell. The piston was up to right about here probably, and there was just water sitting on top of it. So there's a lot of damage there. So it's going to take a lot to clean it up. But from what I understand, these things are not easy to find. So that's why we're doing it. I don't know what's going on with my light here. So the other side looks really nice. It would have just took a honing to get that one ready for the next set of rings. But this is what we've got to deal with, so that's what we've got to do. And here's our pistons. So the clearance on these is, this book is telling me 4 10,000ths to 2 thousandths is your standard clearance. I think we'll be going closer to between 1 and 1.5. That's awful tight. But there's a wear limit on it See if I can see that right quickly here. Yeah, the wear limit is 8 thousandths. So it can take quite a bit, but I don't do a lot of 4-strokes, so I'm going to try to stay right with the criteria that the customer gave me, and we'll just we'll go from there. But it's going to be set up a little bit different than I normally do. I mean, really, it's not. It's just the fact that there's 2 cylinders here. But anyhow, let's get down there and get started setting it up. Okay, I think I've got it pretty close here. You can see that my coaxial indicator is getting close, so I'll probably go ahead and fire it up and see where I'm at on that. Like I say, I do have some roughness in the top, so I don't know how good that's going to be. The other side ought to work real good. Let me get my generator fired up. Well, not generator, phase converter. That's what I'm referring to. All right, let's see. Looks like most of it's going to be on the X. Wrong way. Yeah, I've got a feeling it's picking up that rough. Okay, I got her pretty close there, I think. So I'm going to go with that and go ahead and set my zero on everything right there. And I'll go ahead and get the test indicator in there and make sure that we're right on the gnat's butt. Okay, we're at 0 here, and when we get over to the side here, you'll notice I'm at 0 right there, but as I get straight on, I'm 1/1000ths off. This is, the increments are in half thousandths. I move to just a little past that, and I'm back at 0. So I've got a little divot right there. When I get it round to the back, you can see we're at 0. And when I get around here, I'm just almost on 0, about a quarter off. 0 at the front, and 0 there until I get right there. And then if I go past it, I come back to 0 again. So I think that's about as good as I'm going to get. Right there. So at that point, we should, as we start the bore, we should see that divot. It'll just skip right there, I think. It's pretty much on the money, except just right 90 degrees from here. And as you move it either side of that 90-degree point, it's back to 0. So I think we're about as good as we're going to get. So I've gone ahead and reset my DRO to 0 there, and we'll just go ahead and remove this, and I'll go ahead and get the boring head installed. Now I'm not going to have any cutting here at the top because that's where all our wear or our corrosion is. As I get to right about there, just below it, that's when I'm going to start cutting. So we just want to make sure that our pattern looks good and everything is going as it should. So the first trip through, you won't hear much until it gets about 1.5 inches down. I do have to engage my feed. Okay, should be good there now. Okay, it's heading down. Just started cutting. Just below the corroded area. Okay, right here this is the third trip through, and it's just now starting to take material off of the top. And in some places, right at the top anyway, it's completely around. But other than that, the first 2 times through, the only place it cut was below that, about 1 inch below the top. Just not much to see here. And at this point, we've taken off 6 thousandths. No, 5 thousandths. I'm sorry. The first cut through was just where I could barely hear any cutting going on. That's kind of what I want to see, what's transpiring, and then after that, just that way you feel more comfortable about how the bore is going, whether or not you might need to reevaluate and get your test indicator back in there and recenter things. But it looks like everything's okay. Okay, I've raised this up so you can kind of see. But you can see, I believe, it's cutting all the way around, but it's not doing much up here. It's just starting to cut here, but it had cut all the way around at the top. Looks like anyway. I'm not sure about right there. Yep, it did. But once you get down into the corrosion and the pitting, then it stops. So we're at 5 thousandths through right now. So we've got a long way to go, but everything it's indicating to me that it's a straight bore and we're on the right path. So that's, we're going to continue. Take another 2. Okay, just dialed in another 2. Let's see how this looks. See, it's cutting up there at the front now where it's the worst. We're at 7 thousandths on this one, on this pass. 7 thousandths removed. Starting to clean that roughness up at the top. I'm sure it'll probably take another, I don't know, 7 or 8 to get most of that. We're cutting into the bad spot in the front now. That's the worst of it right there. Yeah, it's looking real good. Sounds like it's really into that corrosion right now. Yeah. It's a little harder than the good cast iron. Okay guys, we're not going to clean up here. It's going to be real close, but it's all the way around. We've still got some, and I've already talked to the owner, and I told him I can't get the piston in quite yet, but the 4-stroke pistons don't have the taper that the 2-strokes do. 2-strokes generally run 10 to 12 thousandths top to bottom, and these are running about 4. So another thousandths, this one will fit in there. And then we've got about 1.5 thousandths to hone out. And he said, just go ahead and do it. Do the best you can and give, I told him he may have a little oil consumption, but the hone will take a little bit more of it. So we're going to press on, go ahead, and I do have one piston a little bit bigger than the other one. I've got this one marked as the big one, so that's the one I'm going to fit in there. And then we'll fit the other one on the other side. But that's just, I don't feel much, so it's really close. All right, let's see what we got here. I don't know. Maybe I can sneak another pass out of it. See what the littler piston does. Well, it even gives me a little bit yet. Oh, 85. Oops. Yeah, that come undone on me. I thought that was, man, I know it's not that size. Okay. 084, so we're 1 thousandths away from the hole being the same size as the piston. I'm going to give it another pass. Give it 1 thousandths. And then we'll bore or hone the rest of it after that. It's real close. I just wish it wasn't so close. Takes a little more out every time, but I think it's real hard. I can't really feel it, so I think it's more of staining. I'm sure microscopically it's pitted, but it's almost more of a color than it is something you can feel. Okay, this is as far as we dare go. I've got the big piston here, and I've got this cylinder marked for it. That's where she is, and I could push it through, but of course you don't want to do that. Now the small piston, see, it goes in. There's almost 1/1000ths difference on that, so it's kind of a good thing in a way that we've got a larger piston. But I think we're going to be real close on the hone, because they say 5/10,000ths to 2/1000ths for your setup, and I think we're probably going to have to go to 2 to get this as close as we can. The wear limit is 8/1000ths, so setting it up at 2 is not I mean, it's still within specs, but I think that's where we're going to have to go. So I'll get the other one set up, I'll get it bored, and then we'll go and finish up the hone on it. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get our indicator back in here. And hopefully we can just kind of move it straight over and get all my locks undone. I'm sure that it's going to take a lot more adjustment than that, but that's a start anyway. Gotta get my little arm up here so I can watch it. All right. Of course, I got it in the wrong place. Let me get you over here. Okay. Looks like we need to go to the left a little bit. A little more maybe. Okay, that's pretty close right there. And we've got a little bit on the y-axis too. Okay, let me go fire up the machine. We'll see if we can get her close. Long way. Closer. That's too far. There we go, right there. Okay, and zeroed out on the back side. Bring it around to the front, and we're about a half thou. And we're about a quarter of a thousandths there. And 0 there. I think we're going with that. Okay, actually I got it a little bit better, I think, without too much work. We're 0. And 0. And 0. And a half thou. Now I'm going with that. Now this one here is just cooking right along. I've got about 10 thousandths taken out of it, and it's completely cleaned up. It's just a shame that the other one had gotten that water in it. But I think it's really going to be pretty nice too. It's by the time I hone it out, I don't think there'll be much left of that at all. Shouldn't be an issue. But this one here, it's hopefully a piece of cake. I think this is the last trip through. We'll give it a measure after it's done, but it should be very close. A little more, I think. Let's see what we measure at. Yeah, run another thousandths, I think. Should be another thousandths. This will go in. Okay. Okay, guys. Man, I tell you, I'm really happy with this. I thought for sure this was not going to clean up, and this is the one that had all the corrosion in it. And there's just a couple of little dark spots right here with a little pitting, but not bad. I don't know whether you're going to be able to see them or not, but it's just not bad. I never thought it would clean up that nice. I did have to take it to 2, so that's kind of at the upper end of where you want to set them up at. But I wanted, it just looked like it was going away, and I just wanted to continue, up to a point to get him the best finish I could. The service limit on these is 8 thousandths, and they say to set them up between 4 10,000ths and 2 thousandths. And we're certainly in there, and I just feel a lot better about it. Trying to get the best finish I can. Okay, so that's done, and I had this piston was about 6 10,000ths bigger, so I put it in the bigger hole, which was this one, and I've marked everything with an X, and I've got the rings already set up for that one. They'll go here. I ended up with about 10 thousandths on the rings. Nice. And that's supposed to be, ring gap is 6 to 29 thousandths. So at 10, we're right where we ought to be. That ought to seal him up good and tight. And we'll keep those separate from the other ones. I just didn't think it was going to make it, and I can't be more happy. Especially more happy for him. He said these things you just can't find them, and I guess he's tried, and now he doesn't have to. I sure hate boring out that one to because it was really nice. If it wasn't for the other one, it would have been, we wouldn't have needed to do hardly anything, probably just put a new piston in it with some rings. But there we go. That should be a nice job for him, and he can get his ride back on the road. Okay guys, there you have it. Finished up the top end for the CB175 Honda. We bored it, fit the pistons, fit the rings, and all he's got to do is just do a final clean with some, I like automatic transmission fluid because of its high detergent capabilities. So just clean that like I've shown in videos before until your white rag comes out of there just red and white, no black, and then use a good grade of oil when you're getting ready to put it all together. So it really turned out a lot better than I thought it was going to. When I saw it wasn't going to clean up, I knew it was close, but it just didn't look like it was going to clean. So I called him and he said, nah, just keep on, do what you got to do. And I did. I'm glad I did, because it did pretty much clean that up. There's just a couple little spots and you kind of really got to look for it. So I'm really happy about it. And I think this is going to serve him well for many years to come and many miles. 4 strokes, a little easier to do because you don't have to worry about falling in a port with your tooling. But still, I like to go the cautious route, and I just go slow. You know, nobody's buying me tool bits or anything like that, so I take my time and save my equipment. And you know, if it takes me longer to do it, then it just takes me longer. I'm retired, so there you go. So anyhow, happy with that. And I've got a couple other jobs coming up, and I'm making a tool for the 90 HS1 Yamaha to split the crankshaft. So you'll be seeing that come up pretty quick. And I've still got to bore a Lawn Boy lawnmower lower end. We're gonna bore out the bushing and install a needle bearing. And I've done several of these, and it really puts some life back in those old 2-cycle lawnmowers. And I use mine every summer, all summer long, and I've had to rebuild it, I don't know, 3 or 4 times over the years. Got several of them. So anyhow, I've done a few videos on the Lawn Boys, primarily because they're a 2-stroke. I've even gone as far as to re-sleeve one. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, look on my playlist for the Lawn Boy lawnmower, and there's maybe 6 or 7 videos on that. Okay guys, if you would give me a subscription and a thumbs up, thumbs down, and I just really appreciate everybody, all the subscribers I've got. And we've got a lot of projects coming up. We've still got projects that we're working on. And just, you know, if you've got a suggestion for content, I've got a list. I kind of jot stuff down. I may not make a complete video on it, but I can kind of add it to the tail end of another one or something like that. Or I might make one on the whole thing. Just depends on what it is. But I appreciate all my subscribers, and my channel is doing pretty good. I'm up to a little over 6,100 on subs, and I'm coming up on, I don't think this is it, but within 1 or 2 of being my 400th video. So if you had no idea that I did that many, there's a lot of them out there. Just go hunting around and see what you can find. I'm surprised myself. 400 videos in, I don't know, 3 years, a little over 3 years maybe. So I've been knocking some out, and everybody seems to like it for the most part. So hey, thanks for going along on the ride. See you next video.